Okay, so now you've set up your WordPress site and you've handed in your URL or Universal Resource Locator. You will need to add menu buttons to be able to navigate your content. So your professional portfolio should include web pages that show off your audio, your video, and your digital work. We will also need you to create a tab for your FMP work. Now, with your FMP, you will be marked based on this criteria. So you're marked in terms of context, research, practical skills, evaluation, and reflection. So we will want to see a web page where you can put evidence of these different areas of your FMP work up. So what you're going to need to do with your website is go into the Customize menu and then go to your Menus tab here. If you look at your primary menu at the moment, you've got a Home, Blog, Contact, and About. This is the default buttons that are there. But to add other items and delete any that you've got up here, you can go into here. You can either add links to new web pages or blog posts. Now, we'll start with web pages. So the best thing to do is start by typing in all of your different media areas, because these are pages where you can display your work to create a professional portfolio. So you can have your audio, video, and digital work. That way, you know, people can quickly browse some of your professional work. But most importantly, you will need a page for your FMP work, and that page will then need separate tabs and other pages for each one of the grading criteria. So we will need to create a page for context. So you type in context. You will need a page for your research. So you type in research. You will need a page for your practical skills. So practical skills. And finally, you'll need a page for your final evaluation. It would help if I spelt it right. Evaluation. Okay, once you've got all the tabs here, we can then start off by getting rid of the ones we don't want. So let's get rid of the home, the blog, the contact, and the about. And we're just left with audio, video, digital, FMP. Now, I want context, research, practical skills, and evaluation to go underneath here. Okay, so if you move them slightly to the side, they will then become tabbed pages. So on the primary menu at the top of the page, those things should come out as tabs. As you can see up here, look, context, research, practical skills, evaluation. That means we can then navigate those easily. So if you save the changes like that. Now, although you do have a final evaluation page with which to put your evaluation, throughout the process of doing your final major project, you will need to also complete weekly reflections, okay, to show that you are constantly reflecting on the process that you're going through within making the project happen. Okay, you're testing out technical things, for example, then you're reflecting on why they didn't work, what you need to do and put in place to make them work. So in order to do that, you'll need another menu button where you add all of your posts. And then when you want to add a new post, so I'm going to save the changes there. When you want to add a blog post or edit a web page, you go back to the front sort of control panel of your, you know, the back end of WordPress here, and underneath the site menu here, you've got your pages. As you can see, these are the pages I've just created. So I can now edit these pages. So for example, if I go into the digital page, I may want to display a slideshow of images or even a tiled gallery. So you can press these plus buttons and you can then add a number of things to your web page, including YouTube links, embedded links to display, for example, the content that you've got on Anchor for your audio, or YouTube here to put the content that you've got for your visual work, or if it's just images that you might have done for digital, then you could do a tiled gallery or you could do a slideshow. So if I choose a widget like a tiled gallery, click the upload button, I can then add a number of things to this, and you can see that there's a number of bits of work here. So I could, for example, choose these 4 images, and those 4 images will now be uploaded onto that page. Okay, I can then update that page, and I can then view that page, and anyone else visiting this website can also view that page. That's pages. Now, blog posts are like pages but with an actual date stamp on. So when you're doing weekly reflections, it's a good idea to publish new blog posts rather than publishing a web page, because if I type in here week 1 reflection, for example, and maybe I've typed a lot of stuff in a Word document in my reflections, or I could have it copied and pasted from somewhere else, or I could just write freehand. Or again, you can add a number of blocks. So if you do it on YouTube, for example, you can add it as a YouTube block, as a video diary kind of thing. But yeah, if I've got my week 1 reflection and I publish that, that's now a blog post, and it's view post. The difference is, you see, that's got a date stamp. If I go back and edit this on January the 1st, for example, the date will still be stamped at December the 14th. So it's a very useful way of just showing that you are weekly, doing reflections on a weekly basis. Now, this is the back end of WordPress, but my WordPress site now looks like this. So you can see that I've set up my tabs here, and I've got a tab waiting for my weekly reflection, but the week 1 reflection that I just did is not yet there. So in order to add the weekly reflections in a drop down the same way that I've done here for the FMP, I need to go back to the Customize menu, click on the Menus button, click on Primary Menu, and then click Add Items. But this time I don't want to add a page, I want to add a post. And there is my week 1 reflection. If I move that to the side underneath the weekly reflections and then save the changes, this is how we want you to have your WordPress website finished off. And in the next video, I will talk to you a little bit about customizing the design.